Hey beekeepers, welcome back to another edition of Beekeepers Buzz. I'm Joshua with Mann, and today we're going to be going over how to successfully prep your hive in the December months of the southeast region of the United States. So we're going to break it down into three categories. Our first category being hive health. That's going to fall under your typical hive inspection routine. If you've already hit those colder months, don't worry about cracking that hive open now. Just make sure that you're taking a peek every so often to make sure that those stores are still good. If you still are in warmer months, you definitely have some time to get in here and take a look. So first thing we're going to be looking for is honey stores or just resources. How much honey, how much feed do we have in there? If you've already pulled all your honey for the year, you definitely want to look at supplemental feeding. Second thing we want to look at, brood pattern. How's that queen doing? Right now, her brood pattern should be coming from something like this size down to about this size. Okay, she's just naturally going to slow down that egg laying process, getting ready for that winter months. Pest management, very important in hive health. If you haven't already, now is one of the last opportunities you have to get in there and get a mite count, whether that be an alcohol wash, a sugar wash. You definitely need to see how many mites you're going into the winter months with, or if maybe this is going to be your last chance to get that Varroa treatment on there and get them through the winter successfully in terms of those mites. Fourth thing we're looking for is weaker colonies. If you have more than one hive, now's the time to assess the health of your other hives and consider maybe merging them with a stronger hive to ensure your chances of survival throughout the winter. Now, so all that stuff kind of falls in your typical hive inspections, and if you've been doing them periodically, then right now you should already kind of have a good idea of where your hive stands. But this is definitely going to be one of the times of the years where we're kind of coming up on that last chance to get in there and take a look at our hive. Now moving on to our second category, we're going to talk about winter prep for the actual hive, our supplemental feeding, which we talked about beforehand in the hive health. If you've already pulled all that honey out and we've already harvested everything we could from this hive, we definitely want to look at supplemental feeding, whether that be a sugar board, whether that be fondant, or whether that be Mann Lake's winter feed. We definitely want to get some sort of solid feed on there. Second thing that we want to look for in terms of prepping our hive is insulation. How cold does it get where we live? If you're up in Kentucky, Tennessee, Carolinas, you're probably going to get a little bit cooler winter than the Georgias, the Mississippis, Alabamas, and Floridas. Okay, so definitely assess your weather, and if we're talking a couple weeks, even a month or two of temperatures below 50, 40 degrees, you definitely might want to consider an insulation wrap for your hive, just helping those bees keep that heat inside there that they're creating when they cluster. Also ventilation. Now when those bees are clustering, they're going to be causing that hive to heat up. And if there's any kind of moisture in there, whether it be from liquid feed or just the condensation from the bees themselves, we definitely want to make sure that hive is ventilated or we have some sort of moisture control in there, whether that be a moisture board or a quilt box. We definitely want to control that moisture in our hive. Positioning our hive, very important this time of year. Maybe in our summer months, we had them kind of in the shade a little bit, so that way they got a little bit less sun to keep them cooler in the summer and spring months. But now that we're coming into the cooler months, we might want to consider moving those bees so that way they get a couple more hours of sunlight a day, help with warming them up, kind of taking a little bit strain off the bees. Also a windbreak. If you have your bees out in kind of a wide open area, or maybe you're near the coast where it gets a little bit windy in the winter time, now would be a good time to consider maybe a windbreak, moving them behind a wall, some kind of fencing, just to kind of eliminate a little bit of that wind chill that's going to come across this hive, which will cause those bees to work a little bit harder. Also, we want to talk about sealing up our hive. Not only are the bees trying to stay warm, but other pests are trying to stay warm as well, whether that be rats, possums, mice. Any one of them could try to weasel their way into your hive. So you definitely want to have an entrance reducer and time to close that up as small as possible. So that way it reduces the wind getting through there, and it reduces the chances of any kind of rodents or anything like that getting into your hive. Now, once we're done with our winter prep of our hive, now we're going to move on to our third category, which is going to be our beekeeper to-do list in December. So very important. Now's a great time. You get a little break from having to attend to your bees constantly on a bi-weekly basis, checking for swarms, checking for queen cells, things like that. Now you get that little bit of break. So now's the time to prep yourself for a successful spring. That's going to be cleaning your equipment that needs cleaned. That's going to be getting a list of equipment that you might need, additional frames, additional boxes, feeders, things of that nature, tools, suits. This is the time to get that list together and order through the Mann Lake app, order through the Mann Lake website. Just get that list in so that way you can have everything prepped, ready to go come springtime. Third thing that you're going to be looking for is education. Continue your education, especially when you're not having to be so attentive to the bees. Join your local bee clubs. Reach out for beekeeping expos, beekeeping seminars, just to kind of get around like-minded people in your local area that can have great tips and great resources on what they do to prep their hives for this time of year. And just continue that knowledge so that way you can become the best beekeeper possible. Right now, Mann Lake has bees for pre-order. So if we're thinking about trying a different breed of bees, or maybe we're just going to need more bees for the next year because we want to expand or even give a gift, now would be a great time to go ahead and get that ordered out of the way, so that way come springtime, you don't have to worry about any of that. So go on our website or our app, research all the different breeds of bees that we have currently, and we can get those shipped out to you come springtime. So with that being said, that's everything that we need to look for when we're talking about prepping for the Southeast region in December. We're looking for our hive health, weight of the hive, pest management, doing our mite counts, getting a last-ditch mite treatment on there this time of year if possible. We're going to make sure that we're insulated, we're blocked from the wind chill, we got our entrance reduced, maybe we have a moisture board or a quilt box on there, and then maybe we have some fondant or some winter feed on there as well. So these are the things that's going to help you get through a successful December down here in the southeast part of the United States. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, let us know how you prep your hives for winter, and again, appreciate you tuning in.